Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my review for the series premiere of What We Do in the Shadows on FX. Alright, so I was really looking forward to this one, even though I have not seen the movie yet. I do plan on watching it now, especially after this pilot or premiere episode. But yeah, I was really looking forward to this one, and let me tell you, it delivered. Pretty much met my expectations, exceeded them even a little bit. Especially from watching the trailer, doing a little bit of research on what the show's going to be about, and kind of what tone they're going for. To me, I really felt like it really was very satisfying in that, right? I think it really met my expectations, and like I said, maybe even exceeded them a little bit. So yeah, it was great. Last night got a chance to look at this one, of course, the premiere episode. It sounds like we're only getting 10 episodes for season 1 of this series, which only amounts to about 5 hours of television, so it is a little bit odd for a comedy, but this isn't like, all the other comedies on TV right now, and so maybe a unique format will play, to their strengths a little bit, but we'll have to see with that, and we'll also see if they end up getting more episodes. We're not, exactly, it's not confirmed that we're only going to get 10 at this point, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But anyways, love to hear your guys' thoughts, of course, on this premiere episode. What did you think of it? Did it meet your expectations? And also, if you've seen the movie, how did it compare, right? How did it kind of live up to those kind of expectations that you had seeing the movie for this series, right? So love to hear your thoughts. And of course, if you've enjoyed the review, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it as well. So just want to preface this, of course, I have not seen the movie. I've not seen the 2014 movie, and I think it really speaks to the fact that you can enjoy this series without seeing this movie. And obviously, I mean, they're kind of banking on that, right? They know that everybody watching this has not, of course, seen the movie, the original movie. And I think they do a good job of kind of telling the story a little bit in the first half of this episode, really setting things up well. And so if you haven't seen the movie, you still kind of understand what they're going for and kind of that tone, right, that they're setting really early on in this one with the comedy and the horror, right? So, and it's an odd combination, but to me, it works so well in this episode. So this is a horror comedy series based off the original movie in 2014, starring Taika Waititi. And he actually directs this premiere episode. I believe he directs the next episode, and I'm not sure after that, but I know he directs the first two. And so we'll have to see then who kind of takes that role going forward. Anyways, so it's great, though, that he's coming back to this project. Of course, this series documents the lives of 3 vampires living together in New York City. The cast includes Harvey Guillen, Kayvan Novak, Matt Berry, Mark Proksch, and Natasha Demetrio. I think that's how you pronounce that. And of course, this episode, we got a guest appearance by Doug Jones. Star Trek Discovery, recently he was on, and that was great. So I'm not sure how much he'll be in the future of the series. Maybe we'll see him next episode, maybe not, but it is kind of a cool thing there. There's a couple other actors that are already attached to it as well that we didn't see in this premiere, and so we'll probably be, looking forward to seeing those as well. But anyways, that's kind of the main premise we're working with, a horror comedy, and again, it's an interesting genre just in itself, and so to see where they play off of that is really interesting, and to me, I thought it was really well done. So, of course, like I said, preface, I have not seen the movie, so any of the stuff I will be discussing here, I'm not going to draw too many comparisons, of course, to that original movie. And I know some people, I think that's where some of the criticism comes from for this premiere, and I won't be able to speak on that. So this is a review from someone who has not seen the movie. I do plan on watching it, though, especially after I enjoyed this premiere so much. So, all right, so here are my overall thoughts of it. Honestly, as advertised, this premiere was as advertised. The trailer, the kind of overall tone, especially with me doing some research into the movie and what that kind of built around and what tone they were going for, all of it was met, perfectly fine in this premiere, and I thought even maybe exceeded it, right? So it checked all the boxes. We got, comedy, horror. We got some vampire lore, right? Some story building there. Just the very beginning, right? And I think there were some movie nods in there. I mean, the whole premiere really is nodding to the movie, of course. But I feel like there were some references that I didn't quite understand, but I think they made a little bit more sense to those who have seen the movie. But yeah, I mean, you go down the list, right? They check every single box with this premiere, and with that, I thought it was really, really great. Acting in this one I thought was actually really great. I'm going to mention two here, which is Harvey Guillen and Mark Proksch. They were my two favorites in this premiere, but I don't want to discount Kayvon Novak, Matt Berry, and Natasha Demetrio, because I think they were great too, the three vampires. But, Mark Proksch, had a little role in Better Call Saul. He is so funny in this. I love it. The energy vampire. Such a hilarious, ridiculous concept, but he plays it so well. And I saw this part in the trailer, and I was laughing at this part in the trailer, and it's even better in the premiere. So, yeah, man, it's awesome. So I love him, and of course Harvey Guillen playing Guillermo. That was awesome. He's doing a really great job, and that's what Taika Waititi played in the movie. I think I haven't seen it, but I think he is doing the character justice already. He was really great in this. So yeah, the acting was really great. I thought it was good, and then you can also speak to Doug Jones making that little guest appearance towards the end of the episode, and he was good too. So yeah, I mean, with one of these comedy kind of shows, you want a good cast, and I feel like they really do have that. Not necessarily any big names that people are gonna see on their screen and watch the show because of them. But still formidable, actors to carry this one. So I thought it was really great. But yeah, I think I got to go with Mark Proksch as my favorite. He was really great, especially when they opened the bedroom right in the basement there, and he's just sitting there. He's like, "This is my bedroom," right? That part. That was one of the funniest moments for me in the premiere. That was pretty awesome. So another point, they never take itself seriously, almost at all, which is great. I mean, again, it's a horror comedy, so you're gonna have that little kind of fear factor. They want to scare you a little bit, but they never take themselves too seriously to set that up. If you know what I mean, it's all kind of based around the comedy aspect, and just including those horror aspects, of course, with vampires, right? And we get some, pretty gruesome things in this episode, but again, it's just that comedic relief that comes, right after it, or even during it, where it just, kind of subsides the severity of that of that kind of situation. So I thought that was really great that they never took themselves too seriously. A basic storyline, right? And another thing that I wanted to point out here is that it looks to be continuing on until next week. So it's not just kind of a story a week type of show, that we will get an ongoing kind of basic storyline. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to get new characters and new, subplots each episode, but it does sound like we're getting kind of one narrow story throughout the entire season, or throughout the entire show, if you will, even if you want to look ahead. But anyways, I thought that was good. There's a lot of comedies out there that do, a story a week type of thing, or a mission a week, right? And I feel like this show is going to benefit a lot from just keeping a story going, especially with characters like these that are so likable. You just want to see them keep going with this same kind of plot line. And so I thought that was great too. Great tone set in this premiere episode. That's maybe one of the best things as well. Balancing that, line, right, between total comedy and total horror. And that was probably the best thing about this premiere episode, and what it looks like this show is going to be, right? I alluded to that before, but never taking itself too seriously. That applies here really, really well, right? They're, fusing the line between horror, comedy, and like I said, in those horror kind of situations or aspects, they always have some comedic relief, right, to back it up, or like I said, even during some of the situations where you find yourself laughing, but it's also kind of scary, right? And so I feel like that line that they drew here is actually almost perfect. I mean, they really did a great job in balancing that, and the tone was really awesome. The tone they set in this one, so that was great. One of my negatives though of this, and I don't have a lot of negatives as you can tell, but I thought there was maybe too much of the aside interview stuff. Now, of course, I get that it's kind of a mockumentary, right, or a documentary, whatever, aspect that they're dealing with here. And I thought it was really funny when we see Doug Jones's character come out and he kind of points to the cameras and whatever, and they're like, oh no, they're just document, so that was a funny little scene. But I just felt like some of the side interviews broke up the pacing a little bit, especially near the beginning of the episode, where we'd have one character say one sentence, and then, we got to see them in an interview to explain it. And then one sentence, then an interview to explain it. So that was kind of my biggest negative with it, although I like that kind of thing. Yeah, similar to The Office, right? But The Office, again, hard to compare the two. I totally get it. But I'm just saying, in the fact that, the mockumentary element of it, they would play out a whole scene and then do kind of an interview to explain. And I do get that it's the premiere. This probably will not continue, right? Because we had to have some explanation in this one. But that would be my one negative, I would say. Our biggest negative of this premiere is that pacing was just a little broken up by all those little interviews and little kind of kind of elements of that mockumentary, right? That stuff going. But overall, it was good. Great humor throughout. I alluded to that, bedroom one. That was one of my favorites. Another one was the one where they were explaining that they were outlawed or something like that, because their skin color, people didn't like their skin color or something. That one really got to me as well. But yeah, there's a lot of jokes throughout it that I thought really landed well. There's a couple in there, the kind of the crazy paper or whatever, that hanging, and the glitter stuff. It was okay, right? It was okay the first time. They kind of beat the dead horse a little bit on that, but overall, I felt like the humor and the jokes really did land for me, and I thought they were really great. And I'm expecting more of that, right? The writing, I think, hopefully will stay up to that level, and we'll see that continue. So, all in all, to wrap up my thoughts here, right? The premiere delivered on all of its promises for me in terms of comedy and horror, right? Maintains a perfect balance between the two, which again, I feel like is maybe one of the strongest things about it. And one of my new favorite shows of the spring, I have to say it. I was really anticipating this one. Again, it's a comedy, like it's a half-hour comedy. Don't go into this with your expectations on, the next, I don't know what you want to call it, Fargo or something like that, right? The next big horror show, American Horror Story or something. It's not going to be like that, of course, but in what it is, and all the things that they promised, I feel like they totally knock it out of the park in that aspect, and for that reason, it is one of my new favorite shows of the spring. It really is. I really do enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the first season, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this one. Again, love to hear your guys' thoughts on this premiere. Do you agree? Is it one of your new favorite shows of the spring? I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course, on that. But anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for this recent support on the channel. Do really appreciate that as well. And I'll see you in my next review.
You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world. You'll never get a second chance. Plan all your moves in advance. Stay dead, stay dead, stay dead, stay dead and out of this world.